Celebrating our 30th anniversary of Tacoma-Pierce County Sports Museum. With me, I have Mr. Mark Blau. You are the president and co-founder of Tacoma-Pierce County Sports Museum. Welcome back to Cityline.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. You brought with you a very familiar face. No, we're not going to show your toes on the air. Colleen Barta, you are the vice president of the Tacoma-Pierce County Sports Museum, and you get your cast off tomorrow.
I do.
Way to go,
Very
sister.
excited.
way to let nothing stop you. And speaking of somebody who doesn't let anybody stop him, Mr. Jack Connolly, you are a board member on the Tacoma-Pierce County Sports Museum. Welcome to Cityline.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. All right, let's just get into this. So Mark, how did the idea for a sports museum come about all those years ago when museums were not, you know, the norm here in Tacoma?
Well, you know, following the successful bond issue campaign for the Tacoma Dome, there was $25,000 left over from that campaign. And so someone suggested that the Tacoma Athletic Commission, which put that bond issue together considerably, set that money aside for a sports museum. That money sat there for about 10 years. And then when I joined the TAC, I talked to Clay Huntington, who was one of the original founders of the TAC. And Clay said, well, there's now 35,000, but still no museum. And I said, well, why don't we try and put this thing together? So we were fortunate to get contributions from the Albert Baker Foundation, the Cheney Foundation, and then local business and Fred Shanneman contributed $100,000, and we were off and running.
There we are. So why the Tacoma Dome, Colleen? Why was that a yes at one time?
So the facility itself had been slated to host all kinds of sporting events. Everything from our professional sports teams that we eventually had in there, the Tacoma Stars indoor soccer, and then we had the Tacoma Rockets and the Tacoma SaberCats hockey teams. And then along with that, we had all of the numerous high school state championships.
Yes.
Yes, so from football to basketball, mat classic for wrestling, gymnastics. And so all of those combined, they had projected about 12,000 to 14,000 visitors to those sporting events. And so that was right in our wheelhouse to be able to attract people to then come to the museum while they were already in the dome for those events.
That makes total sense. That is a win-win. So Jack, the big million-dollar question is the museum still in the dome?
It's not at this point. You know, Tacoma's got a great athletic heritage, and the collection grew and grew and grew, and sort of outspaced the Tacoma Dome, and they needed the space, and so we didn't renew the lease, and right now we're looking for additional space.
So hence the search is on. So Colleen, where do all the artifacts come from? And we've got a beautiful one right here on the table. Plus, we've got an amazing softball there in the cube.
Actually, it's a hardball.
Hardball, thank you. Well, you know, because you don't touch, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yes.
So the trophy right there is from our longtime running soapbox derby tournament here in Tacoma.
Yes!
Yes, the course most people remember is on the backside of where Cheney Stadium is. And is actually, we just started talking, is currently being developed now for, we believe, a
We just showed a
Frisbee golf.
There it is.
There it is, online. Yeah, it was quite a big deal and a huge family event. I remember our family used to go to it every year.
Oh, yeah.
And then the baseball is signed by Babe Ruth and Stan Musial. We're both here in Tacoma for a barnstorming tour back in 1924, was it, Mark?
1924.
24 at Stadium High School. And so those were the two things we brought today. But the majority of the collection has been donated by private citizens in Tacoma-Pierce County.
I love that. So if I had something I wanted to donate, how would I go about doing it, Colleen?
So you can contact us either through the website under contact info.
Yeah.
And then Megan French, who is our lead curator, would get in touch with you and go ahead and evaluate what you thought you might want to donate, look at the historical properties of it, make sure that it will work in the collection, or if we don't already have a duplicate of it. So yeah, so Megan would facilitate that process.
I love that. So Jack, part two, where is the new location going to be?
Well, we've got a number of kind of exciting possibilities, and what we'd like to do is combine it with a restaurant, and then maybe a restaurant which would serve kids' banquets at the end of their sports season and so forth. So, and put the collection around that. And so that's what's under consideration right now. And we've got a couple different groups that are excited to join with us, and so we'll follow through with that and see.
I love
where it
that
goes.
idea.
Yeah.
Bring the whole family in, have the kids look at the trophies, inspire them to
Make it a hub.
make it
basically.
there we go, make it a hub. So here's another question. I'm like, well, so since the museum's not open, if people want to see the artifacts, Mark and Colleen, how do we go about doing that?
Well, we have a great website, and there's a number of features on it. Now, I do need to say one thing about that baseball.
Yes.
It's not Stan Musial's autograph, it's Bob Musial.
Oh, it's Bob's.
Oh,
So that's-
all right.
So just, I don't want to get any phone
We
calls.
Yeah, sorry.
corrected.
you know,
That's
but
right.
They were teammates on the Yankees and came here in '24. But some of the features, for instance, are the Clay Huntington Broadcast Center. And we have over 40 of Tacoma's broadcasters from 1937 up to the present with their biographical profile, photos, and actual TV and radio broadcasts of them on the website. We have another section called Old School Programs, and we have over 1,500 sports programs, and you can flip each page over and see the entire contents.
Oh, yes.
So that's another feature. Another aspect of it are it's called A Glimpse into the Life of Local Sports Figures. And what it is we're getting individuals to donate their scrapbooks, because young people nowadays, they don't want their parents' scrapbooks.
No, they
Right.
don't.
But if they're a sports person, so we have some phenomenal scrapbooks. Herman Bricks,
Yes.
He was played Tarzan in the movies.
Yes, he did.
Football player
Yep,
for the
yep.
University of Washington.
Yep.
Silver medalist in shot put in 1928. We have 6 of his scrapbooks, for
That's
instance.
incredible.
And so that's, and again, you can flip over the pages and look at all of the content.
So-
those are just a couple of the features.
So speaking of books, I have, let's see if I can get this right there.
Yes.
So Colleen, tell us about this.
Actually, I'm going to defer to Mark.
Are you going to
because-
defer to Mark?
Yeah, because Mark actually helped to facilitate the
All right,
process
Mark.
of getting that book written. So.
She's passed it to you.
That's all right. As we were acquiring the memorabilia for the museum, there were stories that the athletes that were donating these provided. And the stories were so fascinating that we wanted to capture it. So we put this book together and produced it, put it out in 1994 in 2005 at an all sports banquet. And yeah, it represents about 40 different sports, including marbles and figure skating and
Anything
the whole
competitive,
gamut.
you're going to find in the book.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you to all 3 of you for all the work that you've done, the committees you've been on, the fundraising you've done. And you have to promise me something, you 3, and that is that when you get that hub, that space, you will come back on the comfy couch and announce it here first.
will
I saw
definitely-
3 heads shake.
We will definitely do.
All right.
Yeah, we hope that's sooner than later.
I hope
Exactly.
so too. Thank you, all 3 of you.
Thanks
you.
for having us.
Today.
Appreciate it.
All right, when we come back, we'll have Waterfront Market at Ruston. Our Kids Business Center will be in the house. You don't want to miss that. We'll be right back.